Hello, hello, hello to each and every one of you. I hope that you had an amazing week. This is Valencia Poole, CEO of VP Credit Consulting. I am a certified credit consultant and a realtor with Word and Company Realty. Thank you so much for joining me on today. Today, I am going to be discussing with you consumer credit laws and how they apply to repairing your credit. It is very important that you know consumer credit laws. They are on your side to protect your rights as a consumer. They are powerful and can be used as leverage to dispute inaccurate, incomplete, and unverifiable information on your credit report. I do not want you to be taken advantage of by data furnishers and consumer reporting agencies. Their inaccurate reporting is damaging to your credit scores. So you must utilize your right and request that they correct, update, or delete inaccurate, incomplete, or unverifiable information. If they do not comply, they are in violation to the law, and you can submit a complaint to the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. And you can log on to the Federal Trade Commission's website and click on Order Free Resources and download the Fair Credit Reporting Act book and other free resources. So as I stated, today we're going to be talking about consumer credit laws, specifically the Fair Credit Reporting Act. Okay, right? So today I am going to be sharing with you the most commonly used Fair Credit Reporting Act for credit repair. So the Fair Credit Reporting Act promotes accuracy, fairness, and privacy of information in the files of consumer reporting agencies. There are many types of consumer reporting agencies, including credit bureaus and specialty agencies, such as agencies that sell information about check writing histories, medical records, and rental history records. So, for example, Check System, um, Innovis, SageStream, Experian, Rental, they are some of the specialty agencies that reports information to the consumer reporting agencies on your behalf. So we're going to be starting with Section 11, Section 611 of the Fair Credit Reporting Act. In this particular section, it describes reinvestigations of disputed information. So when you have reviewed your credit report and you notice that you have inaccurate or incomplete information, you have a right to dispute that information with the credit bureau, and they will dispute on your behalf to the furnisher of the information. Now, the furnishers must investigate or do a reasonable investigation and determine whether your dispute is accurate or inaccurate. If they find that it is inaccurate, then they must make the necessary changes or updates, or they must delete it. But after the investigation is completed, they must respond back to the credit bureau and give them the results. And from there, the credit bureau must inform you of the results. So it takes approximately 30 days from the day that the credit bureau receives your dispute and submit it to the furnisher. They have 30 days to do an investigation. Now, if they request additional documents, or if you voluntarily submit additional documents, it will extend the investigation an additional 15 days. And so giving it a total of 45 days. So be mindful after you submit an initial dispute of submitting more documents, because it will extend your investigation an additional 15 days, and you really don't want to give them extra time to um, investigate. So that may not work in your favor, but that's just a suggestion. Now, Section 3 of the Fair Credit Reporting Act, Section 3AB, it discusses the determination that a dispute is frivolous or irrelevant. So if you provide a dispute or initiate a dispute, and if it is lacking information, if they feel it's insufficient, or if it's irrelevant, then they can consider that it's frivolous and irrelevant, and they have a right to, just terminate the reinvestigation. Now, for example, if you submit a dispute several times using the same dispute reason over and over, and I know many of you may do that. You may dispute 2, 3, 4 or more times using the same dispute reason. They can consider that frivolous because they've already investigated. So they say that they've already investigated. So they can consider that frivolous and not investigated. Now, at any time they determine that it is frivolous or irrelevant and they are not going to investigate it, they must notify you in writings no later than 5 business days after making that determination. And so you may find at times they may decide not to investigate, but they would not notify you that they've determined not to investigate because it was frivolous or irrelevant. If that is the case, that is a violation. And you can let them know that. Now, Section 611, 5A, 1-2, it states the treatment of inaccurate or unverifiable information. Now, this is definitely a common violation. And so what this pretty much states is that if any information is disputed by a consumer, and if it's found to be inaccurate or incomplete or it can't be verified, the consumer reporting agency shall promptly delete the item of information from the file of the consumer, or modify the item of information as appropriate based on the results of the reinvestigation. And they must promptly notify the furnisher of that the information has been modified or deleted from the file of the consumer. And so if you find, once again, if you find inaccurate, incomplete, or unverifiable information, it is their duty to correct, update, or delete. And the furnisher must notify the credit bureau, and the credit bureau must notify you of those results. So that is your right. It is your right to have your information corrected or deleted if necessary. Now, Action 611 5B12 states a requirement relating to reinsertion of previously deleted material. Now, you may have a case where you've had an item deleted from off of your credit reports, and then you review your credit report again and you see that the item has been reinserted. Well, according to this section, at any time a data furnisher have decided that the dispute is complete and inaccurate, they must notify the consumer reporting agency of that and let them know to reinsert it back onto the credit report because they have determined that it is complete and accurate. And once they notify the credit bureau, or after the credit bureau has reinserted it back on your credit report, they have no later than 5 days after the reinsertion to notify you that it has been reinserted on your credit report, and they must explain why and by whom. If they do not do that, and if they just, reinsert it on your credit report and you have not been informed no later than 5 days after it being reinserted, then that is a violation and you can contact them about that. Section 611.7. This here is a very, very, very important, very, very important section of the Fair Credit Reporting Act. And this one here, definitely familiarize yourself with this, because this is going to come into play after you've disputed an item that you know for sure is not yours, or if it's inaccurate or incomplete. You submitted the dispute and it returned, the results were returned verified as accurate. This is the time you use this, section 611.7. You have the right to request a description of reinvestigation procedure, or it's also known as the method of verification. So as it states, a consumer reporting agency shall provide to a consumer a description referred to in paragraph 6B3 by no later than 15 days after receiving a request from the consumer for that description. So you can in writing contact the credit bureau or consumer reporting agency and request that they give you a description of the procedure for their investigation. You want to know, how did they verify this is accurate when you know it is not accurate? So you have a right to ask for that. And so they have 15 days to respond after receiving the request. And minimally, the furnisher must provide the name and address of the original creditor. Now, there's other information that they can give you. You can find that out in more detail by going to section 11.7 of the Fair Reporting Act, going to the book or searching it online and reading that in detail, other information that you can request or that they can provide. But minimally, they must give you the name and address of the original creditor. And let me repeat this again. When you find yourself in a situation, your dispute has returned verified as accurate, and you know it's not accurate, submit this letter, which is the method of verification. They must explain what was their process and how did they come to this conclusion, of this reinvestigation. They must give you the details of that and who provided that information. Section 623 of the Fair Credit Reporting Act. It states the responsibilities of furnishers of information to consumer reporting agencies. And so what this is pretty much talking about is the furnishers of your information. And the furnishers can be the original creditor, the collection companies, banks, whoever they are. When they're reporting information to the credit reporting agencies or the credit bureaus, they must provide accurate information. They cannot willingly, knowingly report inaccurate information on your report. It's their duty to provide accurate information. And if you submit a dispute and tell them that this information is inaccurate or incomplete, and you're providing proof, and they're supposedly doing a reasonable investigation, more than likely not, but they're supposed to. And if you're telling them this, providing them proof of documentation, and they still coming back with, oh, we verified this is accurate, and they still reporting it, then they are violating the law. They're violating. And so this is another one that can be used if you find yourself a victim of that. Now, if there's been violation of any of these laws, after you've gone back and forth with the disputes, after you submitted the method of verification, requesting what was their procedure for investigating, and after you've done all that you know how to do, what to do, at that point, you can submit a claim, or you can submit a complaint to the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. And if you're wondering who they are, CFPB, some of you may know them as, they aim to make consumer financial markets work for consumers, responsible for providers and the economy as a whole. But largely, they protect the consumers from unfair, deceptive, or abusive practices and take action against companies that break the law. And trust me, they do take action against companies. You can go to their page and look at some of the cases where these companies were breaking the law. And so they actually filed judgments, had judgments against them. So you can go, the website is listed here for you to go to, and you can see for yourself. And so in conclusion, I just want to recap that the consumer credit laws are on your side to protect you as a consumer. It is your right to use the consumer credit laws to work for you, to work on your behalf, and to use them as leverage. So I encourage you to be informed, be educated, and be empowered with this information. Go out there, do the research, learn it for yourself, and do not be taken advantage of by these consumer reporting agencies and these data furnishers, because what you don't know, it hurts you. And so many of you are victims of inaccurate or incomplete reporting, and your credit scores are severely being damaged by this. And so be in the know, protect yourself, and protect yourself, and use the laws to your advantage. Well, I thank you so much for joining me. I invite you to visit our website at www.vpcreditconsulting.com. Once again, www.vpcreditconsulting.com. You can go over to our resources page. We have valuable free information and free tools for you to assist you in the credit repair process with credit repair disputes and money management. We want to educate you and empower you to really take charge of your finances, take charges of your credit, because knowledge is power, and so as good credit. Stay tuned for more webinars, for more videos to educate you on the credit repair process, on the credit dispute process. Once again, thank you for joining me. Have a wonderful day and enjoy your weekend. Bye-bye.